Hey class, Mrs. Anderson here. Week 2 online. You should be watching this video and learning this material between April 6th and April 10th. So I'll have the notes for you to follow along with this video. That's what you should be doing now, and writing down things that I'm writing down. And then attached to the notes, you'll find the practice problems for you to do on your own. And then in the same folder, you'll find a couple other activities for this week. And then class participation is key. So make sure you are checking those things out. So this is a review. We've done this in class, but just wanted to make sure we were all good with graphing ordered pairs. So what is an ordered pair and where do we graph it? So first, let's start with the coordinate system. It's a two-dimensional number line broken down into 4 quadrants. It looks like this. So you have quadrant 1 here, and then it goes counterclockwise, quadrant 2, 3, and 4. The horizontal axis is called the x-axis. So that's this axis right here. That is our x-axis. And the x-axis runs the positive direction to the right and the negative direction to the left, just like a standard number line. The vertical axis is called the y-axis, and that's this vertical axis. Now, a y-axis is kind of like outside temperature gauge, where the positive numbers are on top and the negative numbers are on bottom. The center of the graph is called the origin, and that's where the axes intersect, or when they're both x and y are 0. The coordinates of the origin is the point 0, 0. So the coordinates of the origin is 0, 0. So that's a little bit of the basics right away. We've got the x-axis, the y-axis, and the origin. So ordered pairs give us the location of a point on a coordinate plane. We have the first coordinate is the x-coordinate, and that tells you, it's kind of like a mapping location. The x-coordinate tells you which way to go, right or left, and you do that first. And then the y-coordinate tells you which way to go, up or down. So we're going to practice a couple points in each quadrant to kind of get the hang of this. We're going to start in quadrant 1 first, which remember was this quadrant right here. In quadrant 1, both x and y point coordinates are positive. Remember, this is our x-axis and this is our y-axis. So to graph the point 3, 2, that's telling me that I want to go from the origin. I start at the origin, I go to the right 3, and then I go up 2, and I put a dot right there. So that would be my first point, 3, 2. To graph the point 1, 6, again, you start at the origin every time. 1, 6 means to the right 1, and then up 6. And then I can put a dot right there. And 6, 9 means you go back to the origin, you count over to the right 6, and then up 9. Oh, I think I went up 1 too many. 9 would be right here. 1 below 10, so 6, 9. So those are all points in the first quadrant. Notice that both coordinates are positive, x and y. Then I also want you to graph the origin at 0, 0. Remember, that would be the point right there. So those are some practicing graphing points in the first quadrant. Graphing points in the quadrant 2. In quadrant 2, that's over here, quadrant 2, the x values, you'll notice the x values are negative and the y values are positive. So our ordered pairs include x's that are negative and y's that are positive. So let's start with the point negative 2, 5. So starting at the origin, 0, 0, negative 2 tells me this time I'm going to go left 2. Then positive 5, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5, and that would be where negative 2, 5 is. If I wanted to do negative 1, 8, I go from the origin, left 1, and then I would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So negative 1, 8 would be right there. And then the last one, negative 5, negative 5. So left 5, then up 5. Negative 5 is right there. Then it wants me to graph the point on the x-axis, negative 3, 0. So negative 3, 0 means that I go to the left negative 3, or to the left I go 3 from 0 to negative 3 and then up 0. So the point negative 3, 0 lies right on the x-axis, right there. And that point we say is not in any quadrant since it lands right on the axes. Quadrant 3 points, which are down here, quadrant 3, the x is negative and the y is also negative. So both coordinates are negative in quadrant 3. So negative 2, 5, you would go to the left 2 and then down 5, and you'd have your point right there. Negative 2, negative 5. Negative 1, negative 7, you'd go to the left 1 and then negative 7. Right here. Negative 5, negative 5. So I can jump over to negative 5 is right here. And then go down to negative 5 on the y-axis. And that's right here. So you can find that point because the negative 5 is marked out for you. Then negative 3, 10. So negative 3 and then down all the way to 10. So negative 3, 10 would be right there in the orange dot at the bottom. So we're going to do one more quadrant, and I hope that you're getting the hang of this, or you already knew it, but since graphing points is such a critical part to graphing lines and all sorts of other functions, I definitely thought it would be good practice to make sure we for sure head this down. So let's graph in the fourth quadrant. These ones, the x is positive, but the y coordinate is negative in the fourth quadrant. So the first coordinate is positive and the second coordinate is negative. So 2, negative 5 means you go to the right 2, and then you go down negative 5. So 2, negative 5 would be right there. Next point was 1, negative 7. So positive 1 and then down to negative 7. So over to the right 1, then down 7. Whoops. 5, negative 5, go to positive 5 on the x, then down to negative 5 on the y, and it's right there. 3, 10, go to positive 3 on the x, then down to negative 10 on the y, so down here, 3, negative 10. Then it said graph the point 0, negative 4. So this should be 0, comma, negative 4. So 0, negative 4 means that I start at the origin, I go right and left 0. So I stay at 0, then I go down negative 4. So that one's right here. And that, what axis does that point lie on? That's the y-axis. So if they have an x-coordinate of 0, you stay at the origin, then you just move the y value up or down, and those will be graphed on the y-axis. So those are not in a specific quadrant either. So put these points in an xy table. So our first point was 2, negative 5. In the table, that means when you input 2 in the function, you get out negative 5. 1, negative 7, 5, negative 5, 3, negative 10, and then our last one was 0, negative 4. So we're going to be working with graphing from a table, so I want to translate those points to the table. So now let's plot the points from the table onto the graph. Our first point being negative 2, negative 6. You can pause here if you want to try this on your own, and then press play when you're ready and see if you got it right. or just follow along. -2, -6. So from the origin, 0, 0, go left 2, then down 6. It should be right there. The next point I'll do in blue, -1, -5. So from 0, 0, you go left 1, down 5. And do each point in a different color. 0, -4, be over 0, so stay at the origin, then down 4. 1, -3, +1, so this time I go to the right, and then -3, you go down 3. And the last one is 2, -2, so 2 to the right, then down 2. Notice that these points make a line. These points make a special relation, which you might remember is called a linear function, because they make a straight line. I think that's it for today or this week. So make sure you check the folder and have everything checked off on our lesson plans for that week. We will see you next week, or check in, and I'll check in with you at least once this week too. But thanks for watching.